With no choice but to use deadly force, Mitchell draws his gun and fires. He misses. His second shot is a direct hit at point-blank range. The suspect takes a bullet to the abdomen, yet incredibly keeps fighting.
Gun! This is Darren DeMarco again from White Tiger Dojo, working with Michael Wolford of Justifiable Force. And we're just going over the exercise that I just did, which where I was attempting to cover myself from an engaged threat. Obviously, given what we're working with, we couldn't be right on top of it. We'd get in the way of the technology working. But what I was attempting to do is, if you bring the camera back over here, is I was attempting to cover a potential strike or a lunge at someone, and single-handedly drawing and going to a pectoral index in order to fire on the target. Now, with very little stress like now, you can see I have pretty good center line control. But under stress, what happened is when I covered here, if you look up the initial take-up, it was actually flagging the attacker's arm here. Now, if the attacker was actually coming after me, he probably wasn't going to come after me this way, like the paper target was. So it brings up a very important part about when your trigger finger gets on the trigger. You want to make sure you're in the center line of your threat, which is why we talk a lot about center of mass. So under stress, the ideal of what you're trying to do in a square range situation all of a sudden goes out a window, even with some technology around you, a laser, and no one's going to get hurt.
All right, so we'll talk about drawing and shooting from retention. How does this happen? Well, as a law enforcement officer, we all know who starts the altercation. We are going behind the curve. The bad guy starts everything, and the officer is truly defending himself. The citizen is truly defending himself against unlawful force. So when that happens, I am now reacting. All the force I ever use is always reactive force. I never apply force arbitrarily. It's always that person's doing something to me, and then I have to react. So we talk about close quarter drawing, close quarter fighting. Space was managed improperly. The person got on top of me, now I have to draw and shoot, possibly into a deadly force scenario. That's the only time I would be drawing my weapon, unless you're a law enforcement officer and doing some kind of constructive authority. But besides that, think about now the person attacking, you defending and drawing, and how really, truly that is going to be a difficult situation. So when you see different types of law enforcement and civilian shootings, and all of a sudden you on the outside want to look in and say, well, how come the guy didn't do this, or why didn't he shoot him in the foot, or why didn't he just back up? Well, it's not necessarily all that easy as you on your couch watching perceive it to be.